and we are very happy to be joined on the Milford Informer this week by Mike Morrison, of course known as the president of the Friends of the Milford Upper Charles Trail, here for a very special cause. But first and foremost, Mike, thanks for joining us on the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Tim. Glad to be here.
So, of course, as everyone can see from your colorful choice of wardrobe here today,
Yes.
Here for a special cause. For the second year in a row now, you're going to be participating in the Pan Mass Challenge, which is, of course, a fantastic event to raise money that takes place a little bit later on in the summertime. First and foremost, for any of the viewers who might not be familiar with the Pan Mass Challenge, can you tell us a little bit about what it's all about?
Sure. Pan Mass Challenge is an annual bike ride, a bike-a-thon. So riders can choose from any number of routes to ride basically across the state of Massachusetts, ending mostly in Provincetown. And the goal is to raise money for cancer research at the Dana Farber in Boston. Each rider has basically a minimum fundraising amount that they have to meet in order, and it depends on which ride they choose. But essentially, it's just a way to generate money and fund cancer research and life-saving research.
It's an outstanding fundraising event, and obviously a tremendously worthy cause, raising money for Dana Farber. And now this is going to be the second year that you've participated in the challenge. Last year you were part of Team Waters, and so what was the experience like the first time around?
First time around, I'm pretty good with biking. I bike all around town, so you've probably seen me going around. But so the experience of biking was a blast. I was there on the Cape in the summer, which is, you can't go wrong there.
Absolutely.
Even though it was raining that Saturday. I did the Born to Provincetown ride last year, so that's about 80 miles, just under. So I was there on a Saturday beforehand, just tooling around, and had a lot of, went down to Falmouth and Woods Hole and everything. It was great. The ride back, pouring rain. So a whole way back, so like 30-ish miles down to the Mass Maritime campus where everyone was meeting. But there wasn't really a sad face in the bunch. And even though I didn't participate in the Saturday ride that year, I was part of the group. I was part of everyone because I was doing the second day ride. I just wanted to get my feet wet. I'm comfortable with biking, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the 80 miles or like the, it seems a fairly steep fundraising commitment. But I ended up doing that, and I absolutely do not regret that 1 minute. Yeah,
obviously the race itself, the ride itself, doesn't take place until August, but in order to get those funds generated, it's something that takes the majority of the year to get to that point.
Absolutely. The ride really is the reward at the end of it. It's for people who enjoy biking, and the ride, not really much fundraising going on that day, or the weekend, I should say. It's, the reward you get for a whole half a year or more of fundraising.
And so, as you now are starting to ramp up your efforts towards your fundraising goal, what is the number one way that folks can start to get involved and help donate towards your individual goal?
Sure. There's the PMC website, which is pmc.org. If you go to, I believe it's donate.pmc.org/mm for my name 0795. That's the link to my the donate profile page for my ride. And you can go there, and I think there's a bunch of links you can choose. Any amount is accepted. Grateful, extremely wonderful gift. So that's the main way. And there are a couple of, I'm trying to generate interest around town and businesses for more fundraisers coming up in the year. I don't have details yet, but hopefully in the coming months we'll have more details available.
A lot of moving parts there, but certainly the primary and the easiest way, and again, we encourage anyone out there, if you can donate, to please do so. Mike riding with Team Waters for the upcoming Pan Mass Challenge later on this summer, so all of that website information on your screen right now, so definitely check that out and donate if you can. And I don't think we've mentioned it yet, Mike, but you're increasing your ride from last year. You mentioned you did the Born to Provincetown ride last year, which we before we came on air, we called the Victory Lap, getting all of that great scenery in out on the Cape, but you're extending that this year.
Right. Last year was just Born to Provincetown. It is like the Victory Lap. You can't go wrong with being on the Cape in the middle of summer, as long as you don't go in the water. So, This year I'll be doing Wellesley to Provincetown. So the first day would be Wellesley to Bourne, the Babson campus to the Mass Maritime campus, and that's roughly double the length. I don't know how the exact mileage, but it's roughly in the neighborhood of 160, 165 miles in total.
That's incredible. Now, will you do some extra riding in the summer to start to get ready for that, or could you do that right now if you needed to?
Well, not necessarily in the middle of winter, but certainly, certainly once with the warm weather gets here, absolutely, that's something I would do. I've done rides from Milford to Boston and back a few times, and that's kind of like a warm up, I would say. It's not something I do on a regular basis, but it's certainly something I love doing. As long as I get the day off from work and it's decent weather, absolutely.
Well, we certainly look forward to hearing your progress throughout the year. Again, the Pan Mass Challenge, it comes up in August, but looking for those donations to Mike's team, Team Waters, as they continue to march towards a goal again, helping the folks over at Dana Farber. So certainly best of luck with that, and we'll continue to check in with you. But I would be remiss if I let you go, Mike, without putting in a quick question about the Milford Upper Charles Trail. We're starting to get some warmer weather this week coming up. We might hit 60 by Friday, so people are going to start to get the itch to get back outdoors. So what are the plans coming up to, I know every spring there are events to get the trail ready to go. What's in the works for coming up in the weeks and months to come?
Sure. Once we get the snow melted, we're tagging along with the Citizens for Milford again this year. So every spring they do a townwide beautification day, and that'll be April 27th this year. That's I believe that's the last Saturday in April. And so the meetup point will be the communal parking lot across from Sacred Heart Church again, and there will be places where you can meet up with Citizens for Milford if you want to do places like Main Street or Dilla Street or anywhere else in town that's not the trail. We found that a lot of families like to do the trail because it's a little safer than having cars flying by or small children and so forth. So we're going to be setting up a table there as well, and we'll have maps. We plan to distribute maps of the trail. So if people want to go there or go elsewhere, we'll have also trouble spots, or usual spots with most litter and trash highlighted on the map. And we're also planning a new initiative this year. The Friends have always had responsibility for maintaining 4 landscaped areas along the trail. This year we're trying to go ahead, and instead of just weeding and replenishing the mulch, we actually want to plant a few hostas in one of the areas. So if anyone has small children and doesn't mind getting their hands dirty, you can meet us at the communal parking lot and give you a plant and say, here you are, and meet you at it'll be at the Louisa Lake trailhead area. There's a small, I say small, it's a relatively small area. It's like 3 feet wide by 50 feet-ish. And we'll meet you there and just guide you to planting the little hosta.
Always finding new ways to spruce up the trail, so we look forward to that. April 27th was the date for Beautification Day?
That's right. I think it's 9 a.m. I think things get rolling.
So we'll certainly get more information out there as we get closer, but it's good to sort of start thinking about that date now. Again, warm weather to come. We're certainly all looking forward to it, getting back out, getting on the trail. And so again, thanks so much for that update, and best of luck as you continue to raise funds for the Pan Mass Challenge to come. Mike Morrison, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Tim.